This is Dr. Panda.
Hello, human friends. I am Dr. Panda. Recently, I have felt myself aging and my physical abilities declining. Time is indeed ruthless. It would be great if time did not exist. Then, a seemingly absurd question popped into my head. Does time really exist? Most people probably cannot understand this question. Time is obviously real. It passes by us day by day, second by second. How can it be said that it does not exist? First, please answer me a question. What is time? This question is probably impossible for anyone to give a perfect answer to. If you have any questions about my point of view, you can write your thoughts in the comments section and discuss it with everyone. If someone asks you what a tiger is, you can point to the animal next to you and say, "This is a tiger." The same is true for a lion. But if someone asks you what time is, can you point to anything and say, "This is time"? Time is an abstract concept. We cannot see it with our eyes. Our understanding of time is based on our own feelings. People often say that time flies or drags on. However, everyone experiences time differently. Some people feel that time passes quickly while others feel that it passes slowly. Time is a subjective feeling. However, humans have established a standard for time in order to describe and record the changes of objective things. For example, in farming, people need to time their planting, fertilizing, and harvesting. Without a concept of time, they can't make efficient decisions about when to do these things, which could lead to crop losses. In everyday life, we also need to use time to manage our work, school, and personal lives. Without a concept of time, we can't be productive or effective, which could lead to problems like low grades or missed deadlines. It's like if you have a friend who you go out to eat with all the time, but you don't know his name. In order to make it easier to introduce him to other people, you might give him a nickname. People often do this kind of thing. Even if you have a friend with a name, you won't call him by his real name after you become close. You'll call him Tom or Jerry instead. This shows that humans have a very close relationship with time. We often impose our own things on it. We do this to make more people accept time as a friend. However, in reality, time is actually a product of the universe. If you insist on defining it by Earth's standards, it will inevitably lead to problems. Therefore, we can see that all time measuring instruments in the world have errors. The most accurate time measuring instrument is the atomic clock. It used to be a color atomic clock, but now it may be a laser mercury atomic clock. In any case, the error is very small, but it still exists. This error is actually a consequence of humans forcibly defining time, which belongs to the universe by Earth's standards. Where does time error come from? To answer this question, we need to start with the origin of the current timekeeping system. The 24-hour timekeeping system that we use today can be traced back to the ancient Babylonians around 2000 BC. The Babylonians used a base, 60-number system, which was also applied to timekeeping. They divided the day into two 12-hour periods corresponding to the solar day-night cycle. Each hour was then divided into 60 parts, or 60 minutes. Each minute was further divided into 60 seconds, so 1 second is equal to 186,400th of a day, or 1 day divided by 86,400. In the search for a natural phenomenon with a duration similar to the second, humans discovered the concept of atomic clock. When an atomic clock transitions from its ground state to its excited state, it releases a wave of energy. The frequency of this released energy is precisely 9,192,631,770 Hz, which is equal to 1 second. The error can also be minimized by using feedback loops. Einstein, who emerged from obscurity. However, with the advent of Albert Einstein and his theory of general relativity, our traditional understanding of time was challenged. General relativity posits that our previous understanding of time was an illusion. Traditionally, time was thought to be absolute and objective. This meant that my experience of time was the same as yours, regardless of our relative motion or location in space. For example, if you were 100 years old and about to die, you could look back at me and know that I was either also about to die or already dead. This would suggest that we had both experienced the same amount of time. However, Einstein showed that time is not actually objective. In fact, your time and my time can be completely different. For example, I could be only 10 years old while you could be 120 years old. This may seem absurd to some people, but it is a consequence of Einstein's theory of general relativity. Actually, this is not nonsense. Einstein's special relativity tells us that time is relative and it varies with speed and gravity. For example, if a train is moving at a speed close to the speed of light, the time on the train will be slower than the time on Earth. In other words, the passengers on the train will feel that time is passing more slowly. Of course, this is impossible in reality because no object can reach the speed of light. However, it also shows that time is not absolute and it can vary with speed and gravity. To make this example easier to understand, we can replace it with a more familiar one. For example, we all know that the Earth rotates and revolves around the Sun, which causes time differences at different locations. Near the equator, the day is 24 hours, while in the Arctic and Antarctic, the day is 24 hours and 24 minutes. Since our sense of time is an illusion, a relative feeling, what is the real time? In fact, time may not exist. Although no one dares to say this for sure now, because this will greatly challenge everyone's cognition and everyone will think that this person is talking nonsense. However, Einstein's work just proves that he did not believe in the existence of time. First, in Einstein's theory, he did not use time separately. He felt that the concept of time alone was not very scientific or reliable. So he proposed a new concept called space-time. Simply put, it is to add time and space together. Because he discovered that time and space often change together and affect each other. For example, in the vicinity of a black hole, because its gravity is very strong, it will cause the space to warp. After the space is warped, the entire time will slow down. Friends who have seen the movie Interstellar may know that there is such a bridge in it. These people parked the spaceship next to a black hole, and then several crew members on the ship went to explore a celestial body that was relatively close to the black hole. The people who went to explore stayed in that celestial body, that planet, for maybe a few hours. When they returned to the ship, they found that their teammate had already aged for several decades. So, this is a typical example of how the change in space affects time. Einstein did not completely rule out the idea that time does not exist. He was hesitant to do so because he could not answer one question at the time. If time and space are the same thing, then time should have the same properties as space. However, this is not the case. Despite Einstein's hesitation, some scientists have completely denied the existence of time. For example, the Wheeler-DeWitt equation is used to describe the wave function and quantum gravity theory. In simple terms, it describes the relationship between the universe and space-time in the microscopic world. However, this equation does not include time at all. It is also controversial and has been sarcastically called a pathological definition by some scholars. The question of whether time exists is a deep one that ordinary people may not need to understand. Whether or not time exists, we are all aging. Many things are beyond our understanding, but they exist objectively. For example, why is the speed of light the fastest? Why can nothing exceed the speed of light? At least with our current knowledge, it is impossible to know the answer. And that's a wrap for this episode of the video. I'm Dr. Red Panda. If any of you have your own perspectives, or if you think there are any errors in the video, feel free to leave a comment in the discussion section. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Until next time, take care.